Hello, my name is Melissa Mejia, and this is my presentation on my family tree, where I will be tracing my roots and sharing family experiences, as well as sharing a little bit about who I am. This is my family. I am a mom, I am a wife, I am also a traveler, I am fun, I am spontaneous, and I am adventurous. I am a teacher. I am outspoken. I am an overthinker. I am a leader. I am determined. And I am pessimistic. And now I will share with you a little bit about the backstory of my ancestors. I was able to trace back all the way to my great grandparents. My great grandparents were all born in Honduras, with the exception of my great grandfather. My great grandfather was born in England. He owned a ship where he would sell merchandise and he would visit different countries to sell his merchandise, Honduras being one of those countries. He fell in love with the country so much so that he decided to move there. It was there that he met my great grandmother. They married and they had a lovely family, of which one of those is my grandfather. My grandfather then married and had my father. All my family lived in Honduras for many years, and my great grandparents were never able to come to the United States. My grandparents were able to come eventually, but for the most part, they all stayed in Honduras for a very long time. My grandmother was the first of my ancestors that was able to come to the United States on a work visa. She came in her early 30s. That would be around the 1950s. And she wanted to come to the United States to establish herself so that then she could bring her children to come to the United States for a better life. So when my grandmother arrived in the United States, it was very difficult for her to adapt. She was in a country where she had no family members and she did not know anyone. So she really had to work hard to get herself situated in the United States. One of the big obstacles that my grandmother had was that she was illiterate. My grandmother was from a very poor town, and children at the age of 5 started working on farms, so they were not able to provide the education that she needed in order for her to read and write because she worked since she was a very young child. So when she came to the United States, she started to be a babysitter. She was a maid because these were the only job opportunities that she could get because she could not read or write. So a year after my grandmother got to the United States, she started working at the airport. Again, she could not read or write, although she was able to speak perfectly. She was able to land herself a job at the airport. That airport income allowed her to purchase a home, which then allowed her to bring in her whole family, including my mom, to the United States. Soon after my mom arrived, simultaneously, my father also arrived to the United States on a work visa where he was working in the engine room of a Carnival cruise ship. That is when my parents met and created my beautiful family, which is my brothers, my sister, and I. Although I was not born in Honduras, I was born in the United States. My parents did a very good job in making sure that their culture was going to live on through us. They always made it a point to celebrate special days that they would celebrate in Honduras, one of those being September 15th, which is the Independence Day. We would gather together as a family. We would dance to their punta music. We would dress and celebrate in many different ways with our family. Meaning behind my last name. So we'll begin with my dad's name, Mejia. As I was researching, they weren't quite sure where exactly it originated from. They believe it is the biblical meaning Messiah. My mom's maiden name, Padilla, is a Latin word for patella, meaning shallow dish, frying pan, bread pan, uh, which is interesting because we all love bread.